welcome to this K.S.M Creativity Studio. So, I want to show you some editing trick on Pixellab. This is something like this we are going to do. So we are going to make editing some trick editing on Pixellab. So we are going to make something like this. So please, if you have come across this channel for the first time, please kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel and turn on your notification and comment and share my video. God bless you as you do so. So without further ado, let's move on. So the first thing to do, if you want to make something like that, you need a shape. This is scope shape. We are going and import that shape from our gallery side. So this shape we are going to be using. So this shape now, I'm going to drop it on my description, so you can also search for it. So when you bring this shape come here now, let's change the color of our background. So just come to background side to change the color. Let's change the color to something like this. So you can just expand this small a little bit and make sure you put it to the center side. So then come to the layer side to lock it down. You just come to this side to lock it down so that it will not be able to move around when we are continuing. So the first thing to do now, after you have locked it down, is to go to your gallery side to bring the first image. You know, this shape now, you have three side. So the one side here, one side here, one side here, and then you want to make the picture with that both three side. So first thing to do now, we first go and bring the first image you want to use for the. So we go to the gallery side. So this first image we want to use in here. So not this one, sorry. So we make it a square size by click this one, click this size, so that we make it a square. I think you can see it. So as this one be now, use your hand to expand it a little bit. So after that, scroll to this side, you are going to see perspective, these tools. So click on these tools. When you click on it, then you will enable it. So we now use your hand to drag this to this side. You will calm down when you are doing something like this, because it's going to take your time a little bit small, but you just have to be creative so that you will be able to come out with better something. So just make sure you arrange it like this. You are going to be using your hand to stress it very well. Make sure you be creative. So we need to, let's reduce the opacity of it so that we get it perfectly. Let's reduce opacity. So we need to come to this side to remove this opacity. You tap on it, then you reduce opacity so that you will be able to see the shape clearly. So that, I think you understand, you reduce it to something like 22. So let's go back to our perspective. So we continue to drag it. Make sure you do it very well. So after you are satisfied with this, you now click this confirm button here. So mark it. You now come back to your opacity. So we increase the opacity to see it. So I think you can see it. So you can now come to stroke side to give it, enable the stroke. So you can give it a white stroke if you like, but let's give it yellow stroke and increase it something like this. So we now come to the layer side here. Make sure you lock it down so that it will not be able to move around when we continue doing the second one. So we now go back to our inbox import again to import the second picture that we want to use for other side. So this time around, let's use this one. So make sure you change it to square size by click this side. So click on it. I think you can see it. You can drag it like this. So this one now, let's bring it on to this side. Use your hand to expand it a little. If you want to expand it, make sure you expand it from this side, so that your picture will not stress anyhow. So after you expand it a little like this, come to opacity to reduce opacity. After you reduce opacity, then mark it. Now come to our perspective again, or this one. Click on it. When you click on it, then click enable it. Then you now drag it exactly as you do the first one. Make sure you do it perfectly. Do it perfectly. It's not hard. It's not hard like that. Just have to be creative. So that's all. So after you are satisfied with this one, just click this mark. So we now come back to opacity to increase your opacity and see it. If you never do okay, you will still go back to the perspective to make sure it's do okay. So I think this one makes sense like this. So we now come to stroke again. Enable the stroke and then give it a yellow stroke exactly. Then increase the stroke small like this. I think you can see what we are doing. So if you are satisfied with this one, I will now come to the layer side to lock it down. So it remain the top side here. So we now go back to our gallery side. We go back to here, import. So when you click your import, you direct it to your gallery side so that you bring the third image that you want to use. So that for this time, let's use this one, and make sure you turn here to square size. Click this side, so it will make sense with you can now drag it to exactly how you want it. Then click mark go button here. So this one now, so you now remove the come to opacity, reduce the opacity so that you'll be able to see the square at top. So you now come to perspective again, click on it, then use your hand to drag it like this. You'll be surprised that this app have all this function. So just make sure you do it perfectly. It's not hard at all. Just have to be creative so that your work will make sense after finishing. So let's go and see it. After you have satisfied to arrange it very well, you now mark this come back to your opacity to increase the opacity. So see your work. If you never do okay, you can still go back to redo it. I think it's okay like this. So I think it's okay if you are satisfied with it. You don't need to go back. But if you never satisfied with it, you still go back to and do it perfectly. I think you have make it look be good like this. So you can now come to stroke again to give a small stroke. This is yellow, the same yellow that so just make sure uh, everything dey perfect. I think you can see it now. So after that, we now come to your layer panel here. Click on it, then make sure you lock it down. Then tap this square. We are going to give it a shadow. This square now. Tap on it. You don't need to open it. Just tap on it. When you tap on it, if you now scroll to this side, you are going to see a shadow. Click shadow, then enable the shadow. So when you enable the shadow, you now scroll down. I think you can see offset Y. You can increase it a little bit. Then blur side, blur radius, you can increase it to something like this, so that it will look realistic. So you can see it. Let's reduce the offset Y a little bit. Can reduce it to something like 14 or 13. Just make sure it's perfect, or 10. Then offsets, yeah, I think it's okay like this. So I think you can see our perfect work. So that's how to make something like this. Please kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel and turn on your notification. So I'm going to drop another one very soon so that you will not miss out of it. Thank you. God bless you as you do so. See you in the next tutorial.